And I remember in talking to Stan, because Stan was getting with you at the time. He's like, yeah, I don't know. I said, look, I said, Stan, I said, how much do you and I know about strongman training? He's like, we don't know anything about it. I said, that's right. I said, probably just leave that up to his coach. But I said, if you look at the lifts, they look like they're done pretty easy. So in my opinion, from what I saw, it didn't even look like they were real maxes for you anyway, even though they were heavy. Mm-hmm. Is that how they felt, or did they feel like they were?
Yeah, you're definitely right. I never train, when I'm preparing for a contest, I never train to failure. I always have more left in the tank. And that was always the case, in all of those videos that I put up there, I always had more in the tank. I never trained to failure, and it was all planned out weeks before, I had it written out on papers, and each week was planned, Obviously, you make some changes throughout the weeks if something happens or something.
Yeah, you audible, switch things up.
Yeah, but everything was planned. I felt very good. I was very consistent, dedicated with my training, diet, and everything. So everything felt great. Just training and everything was just perfect.
With that amount of training, do you need some like down weeks? Like you're squatting real heavy and deadlifting real heavy, and then probably working on some of the events and stuff. How does some of that work as you're going into the contest?
Yeah, I think everyone is different. With their body, how they recover to training and everything. I think my body does recover quite nicely with training, but obviously, after, heavy sets of deadlift and squats like we're doing there, you have weeks where you're doing a little bit of lighter sessions. But my lighter weeks were still heavy for a lot of people, I was doing maybe, I can't remember it, but, let's say if I did 420, like 400 kilos, like squat for two reps. The next week I did maybe 350 for 5 reps.
Right.
It was still heavy, but it wasn't crazy heavy for me. But the numbers are big.
Yeah, allowed your nervous system to probably recover and then carry into the next workout.
Yeah.
Do you think conditioning plays a big role in it? Because it seems like you got to be in shape enough to be able to handle kind of the brutality of each workout.
Yeah, for sure. I think it does play a big role. I'm a big fan of 10 minutes walk after my meals,
Yeah.
Getting the blood moving and stuff like that. And I'm also a big fan of hot and cold. I have a hot and cold tub, at home, and I use that a lot for my recovery, and I think it works great for me at least, so I'm able to push myself even further. So I think a lot about how can I recover myself so I can train even harder. How can I push myself, or what can I do to become better? Like in any way. Like it's not like I'm just eating 6 meals a day and just training 2 hours a day. It's a lot of other things involved that I'm doing to making sure that I'm getting as strong as possible and I'm recovering as fast as possible.
Stan's not the first person to ever do it, but he was somebody that brought that mentality into powerlifting. And he's somebody that brought that mentality to some of the strongman athletes as well, where it was like when Stan came into powerlifting, he took the straight up mindset that he had from bodybuilding, which bodybuilding is a 24-hour process. You have your lifting, you have your cardio, but then the nutrition is a huge part. And then without the sleep, you're really shooting yourself in the foot because the food's not working properly for you if you're not sleeping, and the training's certainly not really doing anything. And if you're trying to burn fat or gain muscle or gain strength, sleep is kind of where it all starts, And Stan brought that approach in, and I know he's helped you with your diet and stuff. Do you think that ended up being a huge factor in some of your changes and PRs and stuff too?
100%. It helped me a lot. I'm very, it helped me a lot. He taught me a lot about, how important the sleep is, and also with the diet, he was like kind of at some points, he like in the we started to work together 2 years ago, and having him around, guy that knows, he's very, he knows what he's saying. So all the tips and everything I got from him, worked out great. I loved it, and I love it. He's a great guy, and it worked out great for me. And I'm still on his diet. Still using my CPAP like he was nagging me to do. I never actually I have hard time sleeping because of my size.
Yeah.
But after I got used to using my CPAP, the sleeping machine, it totally changed the game.
Right.
And he was the one who was always nagging me about that. Hafthor, you have to make sure you're getting your sleep. Have to make sure you sleep with it. And I think that was also a big factor. Obviously the diet, but also the sleep. Sleep part. I wasn't sleeping very great before. Always waking up a couple of times a night, probably 3-4 times. Now, I wake up maybe once, twice maximum to pee or something. But I'm sleeping better. I wake up fresher, feeling better. So that was a big factor for me. That changed the game.
Anyone that's listening to this, it's a good sign when you go to work out, and you, like, a lot of guys are into like taking tons of like pre-workout and getting all hyped up and crazy for their workouts, and to each their own. Do your thing, right? But if you are still doing all that and you're taking stimulants and trying to get yourself all fired up, and there's nothing there to draw from, then your nutrition is not on point, or your sleep. And that's something I learned too over the years, is like that my sleep was really poor. I think I'd sleep for 2 hours at a time if I was lucky when I was heavier. And it was just, I'd go to the gym. I had every intention of doing the best that I possibly could. I wanted to put everything I could into those workouts, but I couldn't, just like, it just felt like, I just didn't feel fresh enough, didn't feel like strong enough. And then, sure enough, like 2 weeks later, I'd get a little bit better sleep and the workout would be through the roof. It'd be a lot better. And so that was made a huge impact on me as well. As you were traveling and stuff, has a lot of that stuff changed? I know Stan is really adamant about the meal prep, and eating your bison and your rice and getting all these certain foods in. What did it look like before you met Stan? Would you kind of just grab a burrito or grab something on the run, or?
Yeah, it definitely changed as well. I never traveled with my CPAP, or never, I tried to, meal prep food with me and tried things, but I wasn't as consistent as I am today. He helps me a lot with the meals as well, getting those when I'm traveling, and wherever I'm going these days, I always take my CPAP. That's the first thing I do. I'm packing my bag, making sure my CPAP is there. That's the first thing,
Yeah.
If I don't have it, I'm not sleeping. That's just the case. I would just buy it. So if I would forget it, I would just figure out to get it. That's the case. I can't sleep without it today. And also with the meals, I can't, I just get frustrated and angry if I don't have my meals. I have to have my meals.
Yeah.
It's just part of me today.
Right.
To eat, and he taught me that. He taught me to be this consistent.
You're a professional. It's like, if you just think about it this way, let's say we were hanging out with like Conor McGregor, right? And if Conor McGregor has a fight coming up and he's just sitting there eating some Chipotle, you're thinking like, and he's sipping on like a Diet Coke. In your head, you're thinking, man, he's not really doing everything that he can to be the best. Or if you see, one of these dudes, they're out till 2 a.m. partying or whatever. It's like, well, the guy said he wanted to be the best, but I don't think so. Yeah, he's not actually following through with the action. And that gets to be the hard thing. I'm sure before you met Stan and before you met your strength coach, what's his name, the Australian strength coach?
Sebastian Orup.
Yeah, before you met some of these guys, I'm sure you were highly dedicated and putting as much into it as you thought possible. But then these guys kind of show you like another level.
Yeah, I mean, I was dedicated before I met them, but having those guys around, great guys, pushed me to the next level.
I think Stan mentioned something about like maybe at the Arnold or something, he was like shopping for food for you and like pillows or something. I don't even remember what it was, but just making sure you're comfortable.
Yeah, making sure I have everything I need, all the meals I need, and just Making sure I'm on point in my game. It's very good to have him, on my team, and he's helped me a lot to achieve my goals. Both of those guys, Sebastian Orb and Stan Efferding.
What about like massages and stuff? You got to do a lot of that too?
I'm not a big fan of massages,
I never personally got a ton out of them either, to be honest.
No, but like I said before, I do a lot of hot and cold. A lot of hot and cold. Like in my preparation, when I'm like just focused and full forced into it, I'm probably doing hot and cold minimum 3 times a week.
Yeah. And that's not easy to do, but you probably got used to it though, right?
I got used to it. Sometimes even more. Some weeks, like I did it just 5 times a week, I was just very dedicated. Like before I went to sleep, like 10 o'clock, I just went hot, cold, like four sets, so five sets, depending on how I felt, and just went straight to bed. I just got knocked out.
Has there ever been a time, like as you were progressing and as you were going through all this and pushing as hard as you can, have there ever been a time where you just kind of were super frustrated? Like, man, I feel like I'm doing everything I can, but fuck, I don't know what to do next to get better. You ever feel like stuck or kind of anxiety about trying to get to that next level sooner?
Maybe in the early in my career, I was expecting too much too soon of myself. But nowadays I understand, if you want to be successful, you have to work hard. You have to be consistent. And when I'm very consistent, when I'm working very hard, I will see the results. They are going to come. And you just have to follow the program. And when you follow the program, step by step, day by day, month by month, then you see progress.